Senate Bill 8084 by Senator Hinchey, an act to amend the Agriculture and Markets Law and the Cannabis Law in relation to providing a conditional adult use cultivator license and a conditional adult use processor license.
Any questions or comments on this bill? Senator Borrello.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just first of all, I'm in favor of this bill. Anything that can help our ag industry in particular, and the idea of the hemp growers converting to marijuana seems to make sense. But I do have a few questions. First of all, it mentions, at least in the analysis, that they'd be able to sell, but we don't have any legal dispensaries here. So they're going to grow it. Who are they going to sell it to?
Yep. I think, and I'll answer, and then maybe staff can chime in if there's something to add. We have to get the industry up and running, and by growing it. And so the idea is that the licenses and the dispensaries and such will be up and running by the time this is set, but we have to have product in order to actually start the market, which takes a bit longer. So we know OCM is moving rapidly. I think there was an article this morning that said there could be licenses across the board by the end of 2022 for dispensaries and such. But in order to do that and to be as successful as possible, especially making sure that the product is New York grown, which is the whole point of what we want within the MRTA, that our farmers in New York State are the ones benefiting from this new market, we have to start the grow process early. Is there anything to add, staff?
You're correct, Senator. And yes, the provisional license would give, the provisional cultivator's license gives farmers the authorization to grow, and until June 1st of 2023, they would also have the authorization to process, if it's flower, and distribute. But you are correct, Senator Borrello, there is still the difference between the growing and processing tier and the retail tier. So no, they will not be able to retail. But as Senator Hinchey said, the idea is that there will be licensed retailers for them to sell the product to.
Thank you.
Can I just unpack that for a minute? So we're going to give them, in this bill, the ability to sell. Now, we all know that right now, because of the way this law, this legislation rolled out, they decriminalized the possession of marijuana. So now we have people that are gifting marijuana to people. You have places where you buy a sticker and then they give you a bag of weed. We also have native territories selling them. Hundreds of dispensaries have opened on native territories. Would these people, under this law, be able to sell to those people that are now selling it through, we'll call it their gray market, if you will, under the way this bill reads?
No, Senator. The gray market is illegal. So all that activity is outside of the current law, and it's not part of the regulated market. And when I said sell, I meant sell to retailers who will then have the ability to sell to the public. These folks are not selling to end users. They will have the ability to take their products and then sell it to the retailers who will then retail it legally.
Okay, but they would not be able to sell it to a dispensary on native territory. They would not just be able to sell it to one of these gifting places that have opened up. And by the way, you say it's illegal, but I've yet to hear of anybody being shut down. So I'm not sure how illegal it is at this point.
Again, Senator, these folks would be participating in the regulated market. So they would be able to sell to regulated dispensaries. Okay.
One last question. It mentions that in order to get this conditional license, you have to comply with the Social Equity Mentorship Program and Environmental Sustainability Program. Are those programs in place yet for them to follow? Are there any rules, particularly for the Social Equity Mentorship Program? I do have some concerns because when I debated with Senator Krueger on this on the floor, I asked her straight up, would this include convicted felons? And she said yes. So I'm a little concerned about someone being essentially forced to bring on a convicted felon in an all-cash business as a cultivator or grower.
Council, do you want to start that?
And obviously, OCM will have to create and promulgate the rules and regulations of any mentorship program. But Senator, nowhere in the bill does it state that individual farmers would be forced to interact with convicted felons if they did not so wish. And again, I think the point of any sort of mentorship program is to expand the base of people who will be participating in this business.
And one
Okay.
thing I'll add to that too is we know that most of our hemp farmers are white, right? And the point of the MRTA was to also make sure that there is social equity, that we're bringing in a more diverse group of people to actually be growing and supporting and building the agricultural industry, because we need to start this industry now, building that mentorship program, making sure that additional people, new farmers, beginning farmers, can learn from people who are already doing it, and then become that next set of farmers. We know the average age of a farmer in New York State is 57. We heard that on our 14-hour hearing last night a couple of
Yes.
times. So mentoring is such a critical component right now, and especially as we see the cannabis industry going to what we see across other states of how big this cannabis industry is. We know it's going to be really successful here. We want to make sure that new farmers are getting into this process. And so starting a mentorship program so that we can have more BIPOC farmers in cannabis growing and hemp growing is really important.
And that's great, and I support that 100%. I'm just concerned because, again, when we debated this bill and we unpacked the details of who was considered to be those that were affected by previous drug laws, it really wasn't limited to just people that were, say, convicted of the possession of marijuana or convicted of selling marijuana only. It was people that were, really, when I asked the question, hardcore criminals. And that's the part that concerns me. I'm all in favor of bringing more people into farming, and because we do need more farmers. We need young farmers, we need diverse farmers. I just want to make sure that it's very clear that this is a cash business. This is a business that these people have been doing successfully in hemp, and transitioning is going to require a lot of investment on their part, and I just want to be careful. And like I said, I'm in favor of it. I just want to be careful what the unintended consequences might be. That's all.
Thank you. The only thing I'll add is, people who are formally incarcerated, who are out, are getting a second chance, right? This is people who want to get their life together, get their life back on track, and have just as many opportunities, or should have as many opportunities as anybody else, right? They have served their time. They have been released, and we want to make sure that people are successful. Our economy is significantly better when everybody is in the workforce. We know that a crime is down when people are in the workforce. Our economy is stronger when people are in the workforce. And so this new industry, the point of the MRTA was to give especially people who have been negatively impacted by the war on drugs that was meant to criminalize people of color, have an opportunity to now be part of this new industry. So as Council said, though, OCM will have the regulations on what that mentorship program looks like, what that looks like, who is part of it, how people are being connected. So we will see, and I know I have full faith in OCM to make sure that program is to the best benefit of New York State and the cannabis program at large.
All good. Appreciate that. And with that, I'll move the bill.
Wonderful. The bill is moved by Senator Borrello. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Senator Comrie and Senator May. All in favor of reporting this bill?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or AWRs? We have two. I see a possible trying to unmute, but two AWRs, one from Senator Jordan and one from Senator Helming. The clerk will read the results.
7 A's, 2 AWR, 0 opposed.
Thank you very much. This bill is now reported to the floor. And the clerk will read our third bill.
Senate Bill 8088 by Senator Hinchey, an act to amend the Agriculture and Markets Law in relation to the construction, installation, and operation of dual-use solar energy projects on certain land which receives an agricultural assessment.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments on this bill?
Move the bill.
Thank you very much. The bill is moved by Senator Comrie. Is there a second? Seconded by Senator May and Senator Borrello. All in favor of reporting this bill?
Aye.
Great. All opposed or AWR?
AWR.
Great. 2 AWRs from Senator Jordan and Senator Helming. Clerk will read the results.
7A, 2 AWR, 0 opposed.
Thank you very much. And that bill is now reported to finance. Thank you all very much. Do we have a motion to close our meeting today?
I move to close. Before we close, I just want to congratulate Chair Hinchey on her statement on previous to the second bill. Clearly, we have to look out for those people that were swept up in the hysteria over drug arrests over the past 20 years. And a main part of this bill is restoration of rights to people that were unfairly incarcerated. So I think just want to commend you on your response to it, and I'll save my response for another time. But I think that we have to make sure that if we do restoration in this state, that restoration goes for all people that were impacted and overly impacted by the hysteria around the arrest over the last 20 years. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Senator Comrie. I think that's exactly right. Well, thank you. All right, motion to close. Thank you all so much for joining the meeting today. We will circulate the presentation from this morning and make sure anyone who is interested for follow-up questions is connected to the dean. And we will be back soon. Thank you all so much.